Hi guys, and congratulations to us all for voting no to this Voice to Parliament referendum. What a fantastic outcome this was. And they're all commentating on it and on the news and different sides saying, you know, a lot of people will be hurt and devastated and pondering why and everything like that, and it'll be a lot said on it and from all different angles and different ways, which is good. They can ponder, and that's how we grow and learn and things. Well, I just want to say just a few words. It is fantastic that it got knocked back, and it doesn't mean racism or anything like that. It doesn't mean that. It means something a bit different when you look into it. On the surface, it looks racist if you're not thinking into the details, but it's not at all. And I just want to talk a little bit about that. It's under with this voice in the first place, it's under the assumption that you hear it quoted a few times, under the assumption that the Indigenous have been here for 60,000 years or 65,000 years. Now, it's under that assumption that they were first or original, which is also, if they're original, it's also under the assumption that they somehow were created on the land mass of Australia. Or, if you're looking at it from the evolutionary point of view, they would have come from jellyfish and then crawled on the land of Australia and then became Indigenous that way. It's under that assumption. Or if people think they have come from another area, that they were first. But even if they were first, it's not the people that arrived here at that time. We're only talking about ancestry. It's their ancestors, and we're ancestors of our people also. And we on the surface look like we're all very different. But when you go right back, and especially biblically speaking, it all goes back to one source, Adam and Eve. And if it goes back to one source, and many people believe this and have looked into it, scientists even believe this and look into it. Many thousands of scientists that believe in the young earth and the biblical portrayal of how people came to earth. It's through one source. And if it's through one source, that area wasn't Australia. And if the very people aren't alive now that are of that source, well then everyone in this area are ancestors. Whether you're Indigenous or not, your ancestors. And if we're one source, well then we're all ancestors from outside this land. And to treat one group of people that are ancestors more so, or give them more of a voice than everyone else, well then that's not equality, is it? When we're all ancestors. So, there's a problem in looking at it like that. So, also the biblical view is 7,000 years or 6,000 years of creation. Well, that 60,000 years that they say you can't, that they've been on Australia, you can't insert that into a world that's only set in 7,000 years old. And many people believe that, and for good reason, scientific reason. So you've got scientists on both sides. The mainstream scientists talk about, billions and years. So you can insert the 60,000 years into that, but that's only one view and one lot of scientists. And so it gets very obscured when you have one view of something that's not settled history, and then you say, well, if this is definitely the case, then we can do this. We can insert Indigenous into that. And if Indigenous have been inserted into that, and then white people came here, the colonials, and came here and devastated them, like happened right around the world with a whole lot of different countries taking over different countries, mind you, the stronger always overtook the weaker. It's just a harsh reality of life. But however, if the whites come and took over the land, and if the Indigenous were there, well then somehow you need to pay them back somehow, or give them a voice and give them some power so they can implement laws and everything for payback. But this only works if you accept certain narratives that are not proven and not settled. None of us were here. The Indigenous weren't here, not the ones alive now, and we weren't here. We look at the science we look at, we listen to what we hear, we read the biblical layout of what happens, and we make our mind up. But it's not settled. It's not like settled. And if we're trying to make definite decisions, like having a voice over the top for definite reasons that are not definite, well, it's ludicrous, isn't it? And another thing too, if a lot of people don't really know the significance of the Constitution. So the idea of the Constitution, that all came from bad experiences from Old English stories, history, and when people fled and came out and they didn't want to be under tyranny and everything like that, they stepped back and they created the other Western nations, and they put a constitution, and it was all based under the way God, the biblical view, it's all based on how God views everyone. It was all about how to manage the equality of different people. And at the start, the Indigenous weren't in that. But then in 1967, they were inserted through citizenship into the Constitution to have that same voice to be managed equally. And so when we come in and say, well, they're not recognised, and then we try to say, we want a voice and we'll put it up here, then what happens to all the other nationalities and all the other non-Indigenous people? They get left behind. But it's not the way the Constitution is to be managed. It is to have everyone equal. That's the whole idea. It says all the rules is all about managing equality. What you do unto others what you'd like done to you. When you say others, that's any human being, whatever nation, whatever skin color or anything. That is what you do to others. Let that be done to you. What you'd like done to you, you do to others. And so it's on that basis is that the constitutions was put in how to manage it. And it's basically the way God views it all. But putting a voice in there works against the basis of what's the Constitution about. So it defeats the purpose of the Constitution, and largely people rejected it. And they rejected it for different reasons. Some reasons they just didn't understand it. Some reasons they were seeking information, but there wasn't information on it. Not detailed information as to how is this voice supposed to work. They see the billboard signs. I'm more likely to have a miscarriage. I'm more likely to die young, and I can't do this and I can't do that. But people would think to themselves, well, how is saying yes suddenly make you live longer and be less likely to lose the babies? Like, it doesn't make sense. So it was emotional without proper details. And a lot of people voted no because they didn't understand it. They couldn't have details. Another group of people couldn't understand it. Another group of people could see right through it. Well, that's causing racism. Some people are going to be treated up here while everyone else is down here, but we don't want that. We'll say no and have it equal again. Have all citizens managed equally as the Constitution has intended. And so when you think of these things like the one source and the age of the earth, how that gets debated, and where we all come from, and the purpose of the Constitution, whether it's a young earth or an old earth, you can tell through it all, whatever side, whatever you believe in, all that, you can tell that it's not settled history. So to try to insert something definite into something for the reason of something that's uncertain, well, it doesn't make sense. If you're uncertain, you're uncertain. Trying to put something definite in on top of uncertainty is ludicrous. And this is what happens, isn't it? When you build a perception, a lie, and then you can build another lie on top of that, and then you can build another lie on top of that, and then you can build another lie on top of that, the reality becomes very obscure and leads us astray from the actual truth, because it's not settled that the 60,000 years or the million years old, the billions of years old Earth, it's not settled. And it's not settled that the Indigenous were here right at the start when Australia started. There's a whole lot of different history and different theories on that. And it's not settled that we didn't come from different, nationalities right from the beginning. Because all us believers, we read the biblical account and we see one source. So we're all one as human beings. And so it's not settled. So when we try to put definites on it, and then try to put another definite on top of that, the truth gets very obscure, and it's leads us astray in one big lie. So it was absolutely fantastic that we all said no to the referendum. And for all the Indigenous out there, you're totally equal. You've always been equal. You're equal in the Constitution. You're equal in God's sight. And don't ever think anything other than that, ever. I just want to finish by saying that. No matter what nationality you are equal as humans in God's sight. And that's how the Constitution views people, and that's how the rules and everything that it says is written in a certain way on a lot of different areas to give all people equal rights without any differentiating between race. It's all based of how God views people generally. So I hope you get something from this, something to ponder over. And congratulations once again to all of us for voting no, and Australia can move forwards from here. People can reflect on it, and it'll be interesting to see what happens next time and what comes from this. God bless everyone.